Hey there, everyone. It's Rod with the Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Saturday. It's October 26, 2024. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing some important must-know information with regards to Canadians starting an Airbnb or VRBO, Booking.com short-term rental. You could be subject to a 13% tax when selling the property if it's rented out as an STR, so a short-term rental. So we're going to discuss all of this and more in today's video. First thing I'll say is I'm not a tax expert, so you must consult with your financial advisor, your tax expert, whether it be your accountant, and really drill this down, because a lot of people get started in Airbnb, and yes, it's great money up front, but there are a lot of things that people should be aware of before they start. And there's different types of ways to get started. You can do rental arbitrage, where you rent and then you lease it out, right? Or you could just buy the property, which is what I opted to do. And a lot of that has to do with the market dynamics as well. So again, before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And if you just go over to the YouTube channel, click on playlist and then go to real estate. I actually have a whole playlist here, and you can basically track my journey as I went along. And this was a couple of years ago. I talked about my real estate portfolio game plan 2023 in Edmonton, Alberta. I moved here from the east coast of Canada and Prince Edward Island. Moved here, started to look at the real estate properties in Alberta, and even the single family homes and things like that are very cheap comparatively to the rest of the nation. But the condo market itself has been absolutely destroyed. And I bought over the last course of the last 3 or 4 years, I bought 5 condos, and I'm actually in the process of selling a couple right now. I have an accepted offer, and they're basically over double what I paid for them. One's over double, the other one not quite so much, but that was the first property I bought. I just didn't really buy it for any reason, just to live in it, and properties kept dropping, so I was able to scoop up a couple more, and one of them actually over doubled in value less than a year later. So pretty stoked about that. I go through, Airbnb host meetups. I talk about my next best investment. I go over just me acquiring the keys and kind of going through some of the renovations that I did and prepping that I did to get it ready for a short-term rental. And then I just go over some of the overall, trends and things like that with regards to real estate and migration from Canada and outside of Canada to Edmonton and Alberta in general, Calgary as well. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of immigrants here lately, and a lot are coming from Ontario and BC. But then another one, if you haven't seen this, my Airbnb listing got suspended. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. But yeah, a lot of great videos on there that I think a lot of people will get value from. This was one I just posted as well. Major tourism levy changes. This was October 1st. So we're no longer responsible for remitting the tourism levy of 4%. That's going to be on the online marketplace. So your Airbnbs, your VRBOs, your Booking.com, they're now remitting that for you. And one less thing we have to worry about as hosts. Also, you must know this before starting Airbnb in 2024. If you haven't seen that video, I highly encourage you to check this out. Same would apply to Booking.com or VRBO, the must-knows before you get started. So here was the article from NowToronto.com. Toronto Star also reported on it as well, but had some weird formatting issues. So I brought up this article. Canadian homeowners who frequently rent properties on Airbnb could face 13% tax when selling it. Here's what you need to know. And it's not a very long article, so we'll go through and we'll discuss it piece by piece. Canadian homeowners, and this is something I didn't know before starting an Airbnb, but it doesn't really change my perspective. It might change yours, and it might drastically change if you're in a certain area of the country where properties are inflated. If you're going to buy a property and it drops in value and you rent it out as an Airbnb, well, you better be making some good coin, because the property value is dropping, and when you sell it, you could be subject to a 13% tax, right? So this is not good if you're not very experienced, or if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not doing proper market research. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. If you're buying, like, say, a condo in Edmonton, where the condo market's been destroyed for the last 10, 15 years, well, properties could easily double or triple here over the next few years, 5 to 10 years. And who cares if you have to pay 13% tax if your home over doubled in value? And if you're bringing in, like me, 300, 400% cash flow, right? My expenses for my Airbnb per month are only about $1,000 per listing. And then, I'm bringing in somewhere around, on a good month, an average month, probably around $2,000, $3,000. And then on a great month, $4,000 to $5,000. So there's a lot of potential here. And again, for myself, my accountant reached out to me and sent me this information. That's how I found out about it. For myself, I said, I'm not too worried. Just have to make as much money as possible before selling it, right, through operating the business as a short-term rental. The relatively new tax rule comes following a decision earlier this year from the Tax Court of Canada that says properties that are consistently rented out on short-term listing platforms are subject to HST on the property when they sell it. This could equal hundreds or thousands of dollars in tax. So the tax rules applies to any property type. So that's a condo, townhome, single detached homes, as long as they're being consistently used as a short-term rental, and that's less than 28 days on platforms like Airbnb, VRBO. I highly recommend Booking.com as well. The tax implications also apply to short-term rentals that are furnished with utilities included, and if the property resembles a hotel-like business model, right, which would be an Airbnb. Like I bought my Airbnb properties. I have 2 of them, and I have 2 long-term rentals and a condo that I live in. Selling 2 of the condos that I have now, maybe a third, but I'm going to keep the 2 short-term rentals, the Airbnb properties. And, at the end of the day, I've never not operated as an Airbnb. So there's no way I'll be able to circumvent this rule, right? It's gonna definitely apply to me. I'm pretty sure of that, unless something changes legislatively by the time, I go to sell it. And I'm not sure when that would be. I'm definitely not looking to be an Airbnb host forever. Who knows though, things change, and I actually don't mind it. So I'll keep everybody updated there on when I sell those and my plan leading up to that. But the court ruled that properties used for consistent short-term rentals are actually operating as commercial properties, not residential ones, right? So a lot of residential homes that are exempt, but it's a business, right? It's a commercial activity. The decision was made in the case of condo owner Ottawa, who was subject to GST HST after renting the unit on Airbnb for multiple short-term leases for 14 months before selling it. The owner purchased the unit as an investment property in February 2008, and for 9 years onward, he rented it out for a long-term lease before posting it on Airbnb, as outlined in the case. The court found that it was a residential complex and was being operated like a hotel. So it can be taxed as a property, thus the owner it can be taxed as a property, thus the owner had to pay $77,000 and change in tax. According to a statement to the Toronto Star by president and founder of Barrett Tax Law, Dale Barrett, homeowners should be aware that there's a 90% threshold of renting out the property, which determines if they'll be subject to that HST upon sale or not. However, that 90% still doesn't have a clear definition. So any disputes on property taxes should be assessed by the CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. But to protect yourself as a property owner, it is recommended that property owners keep a detailed record of all rental periods, including financial trail, understand the monitor their short-term versus long-term rental ratio, and the plan for the future to ensure that they include the potential tax amount when selling their property, right? Just factoring it into all of your, if you're looking at selling your property and you're going to profit 30%, 20%, well, that could change your whole decision if you have to pay 13% on top of that, right? So the company also this company deeded.ca, they recommend and urge homeowners to consult with a tax expert and real estate agent before selling their property. Just what I mentioned before, right? And if you haven't already considered listing your property on Airbnb or VRBO, if you have a basement apartment or if you've been thinking about it, reach out to me. You can go to palgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com. You can go to the channel. My website's there. You can just click on the links here and you can go to my contact us page. You can sign up as you can go to my Airbnb listing directly as well. I help people if you need any help at all setting up your listing. You also get a referral bonus. So if you use my referral link here, it'll bring up this page, and you'll actually get I think it's like close to $100 just for using my referral link, and it helps me in the channel as well. And I actually help people set up their Airbnbs for free. So you can see here, I've been a super host for over 2 years, and this is great what they've got going on here now. They've just updated their platform as well. So you can see all of my reviews, my listings there. I've got 2 listings. I've got over 300 bookings and over 150 5-star reviews. So again, I help people set up their Airbnb for free. I also do co-hosting as well. But if you're looking at setting up your listing and you need some help, like I said, I do it for free. Airbnb pays me as well. And they also give you a referral by using my link. So you can just go here, hit message. And if you're interested, like I said, you can take advantage of that. And I've helped people, I helped my buddy, I helped a friend, I helped someone I didn't even know set up their Airbnbs. And then they were absolutely booked solid for the next 2 months. And a lot of it, is kind of confusing, and I can help you set up your booking.com. You need to be on there as well. I'm getting a ton of bookings on there, not so much on VRBO, but you need to set up all three, and then you can link all the calendars, and there's a way to do so very easily, and it doesn't cost you any extra money, and I can show you how to do all of that as well. But let me know what you think of this news. Every province is probably going to be different as well, so we'll have to check local laws as well. But we'll have probably more and more like different regulations come out with regards to short-term rentals. So it's something that we want to stay on top of. So going in it there, let me know what you think of this in the comment section below, and we'll continue the conversation there. Like I said, reach out if you would like some help setting up your property, or just overall, advice when it comes to, different types of options like a condo versus a home. I've got a lot of knowledge with regards to that, so I can hopefully help you out in some way. All right, going in it there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.